I got some new toys. Parts Express had a special. DTA-1 T-amp with a pair of 6.5-inch Dayton speakers. And I just got these hooked up just not even 5 minutes ago. Going, one-handed work is not easy. Not a bad looking speaker. For just mediocre listening, just initial impressions with the T-amp, they're okay. They seem to be lacking in the high end though. However, these are just super initial impressions. Not to mention, I'm not exactly using the best audio source either, just my Samsung smartphone. But I am surprised. I'm surprised how loud this little tri-path amp gets. When I cranked it up, I can feel it in the floor. It gets that loud. And it's not boom thump thump bass, you know, it's controlled and it's there, but it's not excessive by any stretch of the imagination. But for 30 bucks, I don't think you can go too wrong. I'm looking forward to trying to tri-path amp on some other speakers. So that evil laugh is perfect. I couldn't help. I knew when I got this thing I was going to have to hook it up to my PA speakers just to see what would happen. But these speakers sounded how they should. It's the best way I know how to describe it. Well, I've hooked the little speakers back up and decided to do an experiment. I broke out my Carver preamp and Pioneer CDJ CD player. I started out with a Philips DVD player, but despite having light use and having even been used for a good year, the thing has decided it no longer feels the need to do its job and read CDs or DVDs. So the Pioneer came out, and these speakers, a little bit of tone control really seems to kind of bring them to life. And of course, you know, I am using a CD player now versus a cell phone, which wasn't bad, but, and of course I can really, you know, play with bass, treble, loudness, and sonic holography, and which I do have turned on. Got a slight bass and treble boost loudness on, and the holography on, so. I just turned off the sonic holography.
Stop with Dre making moves, attracted runners like a magnet, giving them orgasms with my mellow accent. Still moving this flavor with the homies Blackstreet and Teddy, the original love shakers.
Get down, good lord. Baby got 'em open all over town. Strictly because she don't play around. Cover much ground, got game by town.
Now, of course, I'm cheating a little bit by using the Carver preamp, but tone controls definitely is a help on these speakers. And yes, I do plan to experiment a little bit more, but I kind of wanted this to see how it sounded all together. In fact, let's just... I think the preamp helps it, even with all the tone controls turned off. But my review is for $58 on special. If you act fast, the special ends on the 31st of December. It's worth it. I just got it to kind of play around with, but not too bad. I definitely would like to hear the tri-path amp on some bigger, different speakers, and I definitely want to hear the speakers on the different amp. And I guess I could even use the amp into my Magnavox to try out these speakers, but I don't feel like messing with those screw terminals, so I'll just use something else. But they don't sound bad. If you got a mini system and the speakers on it went out, these wouldn't be a bad replacement. You can buy them any day for 30 bucks at Parts Express. So well, I've got the Dayton speakers hooked up to the... Hold on. I've got the Dayton speakers hooked up to the Pioneer's B speakers. The Daytons definitely have a stronger mid-range than the Paradigms. And one interesting thing is... the 50 hertz bass control on the Pioneer seems to have very little effect, confirming a review I read that these things roll off pretty sharply below their rated floor of 70 hertz. The 100 hertz. You can see my normal. This is my normal tone control setup: 2.5, 0, 0, 2.5. On the this, you could almost call this a 4-band EQ on the Pioneer, but this is my normal setup: a boost at 50 and 20, and then 110K are flat. But you know, my thoughts are still consistent. They're not the best speakers in the world, but if you need some speakers and you don't have any money, these are acceptable. Just be prepared to use the tone controls, and definitely a loudness compensation. And I will say, though, their low frequency floor doesn't go down very far, they will get loud enough to where you can feel it in the floor. So now, needless to say, these are rated at what, 40 watts? This is rated at 160. I am grossly overpowering them. Well, I could very easily, but I cranked them up earlier, and they let me know when too much was too much, but they still weren't distorting terribly bad. So my thumbs up on the combo. Like I said, I don't want to say they sound like $30 speakers, but you're not going to mistake them for something more expensive. Actually, these bookshelf speakers would not be bad. I think they would do good as surround speakers. I think they would be good if you had a small store. One or two pairs of these hooked up to a receiver. If it's just for background music, I would suggest wiring the two left speakers and the two right speakers in series to give your receiver an easier to drive 16 ohm load to lengthen the life of your receiver, especially if you're using some BPC to drive them, which I'm willing to bet a person would be using. But this is what that's my thoughts on it. And what I've been using is on the computer.